Hi class, I miss you. Welcome to the newest video for Quiz 11. So Quiz 11 and Quiz 12 are both going to cover integers. So we're going to start out with the introductory material and we're going to get to adding and subtracting. That'll be on Quiz 11. And then for Quiz 12 we're going to do multiplying, dividing, and exponents. Okay, so what is an integer? An integer is positive or negative numbers, including positive or negative fractions and decimals. Okay, they can be put or plotted on a number line. So here I've drawn a number line. In the middle of the number line is going to be a 0. On the right hand side are your positive numbers. So notice I did 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And on the left-hand side, on this side of the 0, those are where your negative numbers go. And the way we count is we start with 0, and then we get bigger as we move this way. So we go from 0 to -1, -2, -3, -4, -5. If we kept going, we would get to -6, 7, and so on. That's why this arrow is like that. Keep in mind that you can plot decimals, you can plot fractions. So for example, right here, this would be -4.5 because it's right between the 4 and the 5. So it's 4.5. If I wanted to do something over here, between the 0 and the -1, this would be, say, -1/2. Right in between the 0 and the -1. So notice again, we can have decimals, we can have fractions. Okay, so when will you use integers, positive and negative numbers? Well, different examples could be temperature. So if you have a drop in temperature, you might say that it's -5 degrees from yesterday. It's lower today than it was yesterday. You also might say you could use it for money. If you are overdrawn in your checking account, you have negative money. All right, so if you spend more than you have, you are negative whatever amount that you've spent. Okay, how about sea level? When you are at the surface of the water, you're at 0. Once you go underneath the water, you are in the negative territory, so that would be negative numbers. Above the surface of the water, that would be positive numbers. Okay, again, overall decreases, so amounts or weights, for example, if you lose weight, you're at -6 pounds, so you've lost 6 pounds. If you gain weight, you've gained or plus 8 pounds. All right, so you can use positive and negative numbers for gaining or losing weight, gaining or losing, I don't know, money, things like that. Okay, on the next screen, we're going to talk about absolute value. Emma, pause. Okay, so the first topic that you're going to have on your quiz is ordering. So ordering means putting the numbers that I give you in order from either smallest to largest or largest to smallest. So I've given you 2 examples here, and we're going to put them in order. The first one we'll put in order from smallest to largest, and the next one we'll put in order from largest to smallest. On the quiz, I don't know which one I'm going to give you, but you're going to have to do one or the other. Okay, so let's look at this first question. It says, put these in order from smallest to largest. So one way of doing this is to plot them on a number line. So here's our number line. Remember, 0 separates the negative numbers from the positive numbers. All right, so let's see, how does it work? If we start with the 0, we've already plotted that. Let's look for all the positive numbers because you guys are already familiar with those. Well, I've got a 7. I've got a +5, and I think the others are negative numbers. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So at least that's going to be part of our answer. Now, in terms of the negative numbers, remember, we're going to count this way, starting with -1. This is -1, -2, -3, which is one of our choices, -4, -5, -6. So we'll put that on there. Extend this a little bit. -7. And then finally, all the way out here is -8. So in order from smallest to largest, this big giant negative number out here, -8, that is the smallest. All right, so let's put them in order. -8, -6, -3, then 0, then 5, and then 7. So the way it works is the bigger you are in terms of a negative number, the smaller the value. And think about it with money. If you have -$1,000, you are really in big trouble. As opposed to -$1, that's not too bad. That means you're in the hole only $1. So the bigger the negative number, the smaller the value. So that's why -8 is all the way at the beginning of our list, because it is the smallest value. All right, and as we move this way, both on the number line and on this list, the value gets higher. Okay, next we're going to put this one in order from largest to smallest. Okay, so again, if you wanted to, you can put it on a number line. I would put 0 in the middle, and here's our 0. And start with the positive numbers, because those are the ones you're most familiar with. So I have a +1.5 and a +4. So 1.5 is going to be about here. And we'll call this 2, 3, 4. So we've done this one, we've done this one. Now we need to work on the negative numbers. So -6, well, that's a pretty big number. Let's look at these two, -3/4 and negative, hopefully you all remember the word name for that, 1/10. So which one of those is going to be closer to 0 on the number line? Well, which one has a smaller number, 1/10 or 3/4? I think 1/10 is going to be smaller. It's going to be closer to 0. So our -1/10 is going to be here. And -3/4 will be next. And finally, all the way out somewhere over here is going to be -6. So how does this work? The smallest number or the least value is -6. Then we have -3/4. Right? The 3/4 would be 75 cents, so -75 cents. Then we have -1/10. Okay, 1/10 would be like 10 cents. Then we have 0, 1.5, which is a positive number, and then 4. So this is your answer from, oh, wait a minute, I did it wrong. I wanted largest to smallest. Okay, so largest to smallest, let's fix that. 4, 1.5, 0, -0.1, -3/4, and finally -6. Okay, I was a little tricky. I did largest to smallest instead of smallest to largest. So actually this is not the right answer. This is. Okay, so this is our largest number. This is our smallest number. Okay, in the next section we are going to work on absolute value and finding opposites.